Hello and welcome. Today we're going to be discussing happiness. What exactly is happiness and how can we achieve happiness? I'm going to be asking you some big questions to ask yourself. So if you're wanting to work on this as we go along, get a pen and paper out and follow along so that way you can start answering these questions as we go along. But let's first start by defining what exactly is happiness. Happiness is a state of being where we feel good about ourselves. We feel good about everything that's going on in our life. We feel content. We feel fulfilled. It's a state that we are just happy, that we are joyous. It's not exactly a continuous state that we can stay in. It's not a continuous state that really goes a long way. It's a matter of feeling that contentment for a longer period of time. We have to train ourselves to feel this happiness and to get exposed to what exactly being happy is. Now, happiness can differ for everybody, but I see it as a state of being where we really are just content and fulfilled with exactly where we are and what's going on around us. We will have many periods of time, like short-term happiness, which is more of joy, which really feels great, really feels good, but it's very short-lived into small moments. But if we have more and more joyful moments and can see the joy in things, we will start to develop and cultivate this ability to attain our happiness more often. You know, happiness really comes from within. A lot of times in our society, we are taught or we learn that happiness comes from attaining something or having something external to ourselves. But true happiness is really that state of being from within. You can be happy even when things are not going so well or may not look so pretty on the outside of everything that's going on in your life. It's really about attaining that from within. So let's start by talking about a few questions that I want you to ask yourself and be honest with yourself. This is for no one else but for you. If you want to get a pen and paper to write it down or, pull up a document to be able to use on your computer, whatever it is, I want you to start asking yourself some really good big questions about happiness. So let's get started. So the best way to understand your happiness is by asking questions. So this is the first step that I would say in achieving happiness is let's ask some big questions. So the first question is, am I content? And the next question is, what does content or being content really mean to me? Because for everybody, it's going to be different. So define for yourself, what does the feeling of contentment mean to you? Next question is, am I doing the things that I always wanted to do? Think back to whenever you were a child. Think back to whenever you were younger and you just used to daydream about doing certain things and it really lit you up from inside. Are you doing those things right now? Are you spending your time doing the things that you've always wanted to do? Am I happy with my family life? Am I happy with my friends? Am I happy professionally? Am I happy with my job? Do I truly enjoy what I do day to day? Am I happy with where I'm living, with who I'm living with where I'm living, location, not only the city and the country, but also your house, your apartment, wherever you're living? Are you happy with where you're living? What can I do to cultivate happiness today? What small steps could you take right now? Write them down. And lastly, what can I proactively do? What habits, what mind shift, what perspectives, what can I shift in my life to really make happiness a priority in my day-to-day life? So what are the things that you need to proactively shift or change or alter that will bring more happiness in your day-to-day life? Now, I know that finding these answers sometimes can be very hard. We're not used to asking ourselves a lot of questions, but finding the answers, it may surprise you actually, some of the things that you write down or you make a mental note. And maybe today you have different answers than you will tomorrow. Whatever it is, it doesn't matter. This is really a good first step because we don't make it a habit to really have this self-inquiry and take the time to ask ourselves these big questions. But these questions really lead us to how we are going to achieve our happiness. Now, the second step is about shifting your perspective. Instead of hoping and wishing and really wanting, like from a place of lack, what it is that we desire, we've got to shift our perspective and look around us to see exactly how we can incorporate this happiness and joy in our day-to-day life. It is about perspective shifting. Whenever we shift our perspective, the lens that we look through things is the way that we will experience things. So if you think about whenever you're looking through a camera lens, how you see things, whenever you really focus in or whenever you broaden the focus, it really does shift our perspective. It's the same way in life. What is your perspective on what happiness is in your life? Do you experience it? Do you experience only the things, or do you pay attention to only the things that make you upset, for example, versus the small moments of joy? Instead of seeing, that happiness is something that we need to achieve or that we attain to, and once we're there, we have it forever, that's not really realistic. What if we redefined and shifted our perspective to think about happiness as something that we do in our lives, that we have in our lives, rather than something that just happens haphazardly? I have found that whenever we start to see happiness as a skill set, something that we have in our toolbox, in fact, it really is a skill to be able to see things and shift our perspective to see things as joyful or being happy. So whenever you start to shift your perspective about that it's not something that you just achieve and attain and that's it. It's just there to stay. It's something that you're constantly working on and constantly sharpening your tool, really mastering this ability to achieve happiness. It will help you in shifting your perspective into looking at things in your life that are happening, because maybe happiness is staring you right in the face and you don't even see it. You don't even experience it that way. This will help you in a big way. You can also start to reach out to people, show them that you care. We live in a society, it's so interesting to me. We have so many different ways of communication, with our texting, with our WhatsApping, with our social media, everything. We have so many different ways, but how many times do we reach out to people to let them know that we care? It is really something that I think that helps you in achieving your happiness. When you check in on people, when you are in communication with other people, it helps you feel of service. If you can be there for a friend or for a family member or even a perfect stranger, starting a conversation with somebody also can bring a lot of joy and a lot of happiness. We just don't do it. We always have our head downs most of the time, our head down, with our phone, with our computer screen or whatever it is. Look up every once in a while and reach out to people to let them know that you care. I know that if you are introverted, this could be a challenge to just go talk to a stranger, but let me tell you something. No matter whether we're introverted or extroverted, it doesn't matter. We all have this deep human desire to connect with other people. And whenever we are connecting to somebody or connecting to a bigger group, we feel that we belong. And when you can share your happiness, or when you can bring some happiness and joy to other people, it's going to help you feel more connected, which is going to in turn help you achieve that state of happiness. Along the same lines of that, of connecting with people, doing good things for people, doing good out there and helping other people is going to really boost your happiness and boost those joyful moments. There is nothing more rewarding than being of service to other people. I mean, we all have that innately, that we want to help people, that we want to do good. We want to bring a smile to a stranger's face. We want to bring a smile to our family and friends' face. So really doing good and doing things for other people will really help you in shifting your perspective, first of all, but also feeling that deeper sense of connection with other people and within your community. I've always found that giving a lending hand can really boost your happiness. When you're having a down day, or you're having some really bad things that are happening in your life and you're feeling down, best thing to do is to go help someone. It really boosts your happiness. Take good care of yourself. Taking good care of your body. Let's talk about that. We definitely have to take care of all of ourselves, but are you getting enough exercise? Are you moving enough? Are you really utilizing your body and strengthening your body to the optimal way for it to function? Because our body is our vehicle that we use throughout our entire life. And if we're not really taking care of it and treating it well, then it's going to really catch up with us. And that can affect our happiness. It's not fun. I mean, it's not fun to be in a lot of pain or to be stiff or any of the things. It's not enjoyable. So no matter what state you're in, no matter where you are, you can start small, whether it is with small movements. Start, even yoga practices, even meditation practices, which I know is about the mind as well, but it's also very much about the body, bringing more calmness in your body, doing some breathing exercises, whatever it may be. If you need any information on that, you can definitely reach out to us, and we'll get you some really good information to get you started on that. But start taking better care of your body so that way you can feel more joyous in your day-to-day life. Practice gratitude. Practicing gratitude, being grateful for everything that you have, making a list, making this a habit and a ritual, whether it's in the morning or at night, writing down at least 5 things that you are grateful for, no matter how big, no matter how small. It is a game changer. Trust me. This is also something that whenever you're not feeling well, to get in a state of gratitude is going to help boost, really in a chemical way, in our physical body. It helps boost certain hormones that make us feel better, but it's also going to bring us into a better state of joy and happiness. When you can be grateful for everything that you have and everything that you are and everything that is happening in your life, no matter how hard it may be, there are different ways that your perspective begins to shift, and it's going to make a big impact, not only for yourself, but for those around you. Find your passion in life. Find out your why. What really, truly lights you up? What will make you jump out of bed, to get out of bed to do in the morning? I know it's not always possible at all given times to switch careers or to change your job or whatever it may be. However, do the things that you love. Find out what your why is, what your purpose is, what it is that you really gets you, lit up and excited. I love to see this in people, and over the years of working with many, many, many people, thousands of people now, it really is inspiring to me to see when people find their joy and find inside of them what lights them up, because that makes them a much joyous person, makes them a happier person, and helps them contribute more to their communities and to other people and be an inspiration and motivation for other people. So find your passion. That's going to really be something that really lights you up and brings you more happiness and joy in your life. And lastly, practicing self-care. Now, we talked about taking care of the body. Self-care is really about the physical body, but it's also about the mental, emotional, and spiritual self. How are you taking good care of yourself? Are you getting enough rest? Are you practicing mindfulness? Are you doing something to maybe learn more skills, learn more about yourself? Are you journaling? Are you taking walks every day? Are you spending the time that you need to really take care of yourself? If you do not take care of yourself, you cannot take care of anyone else effectively. It is just that way. We cannot give from an empty battery. We cannot give from an empty bucket. We've got to refill our own bucket. We've got to take care of ourselves. If we're not taking care of ourselves, this really robs us of our happiness and joy. It is really something that is very, very important. So make your self-care practice a priority for you. So by following these 8 steps, I'm sure that you're going to be able to achieve more happiness in your life. Remember, happiness is not a destination. It is the journey along the way. It is what we cultivate on a day-to-day basis in each moment that helps us experience more joyous moments and more happiness in our life. With a little bit of an intention and focus, you can live a life that brings you more fulfillment, contentment, and joy.